Gender-based violence is a form of violence that is being directed on the person, not minding his or her gender identity. This is being perpetrated by men on women and girls. However, men also suffer gender-based violence. Welcome to this episode of Her Word on Benue Television. I am Godoto. On the show today, we have a beautiful lady. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, beautiful people. On the show today, we have a beautiful lady. She is Mrs. Awashima Adengi, the company secretary and legal advisor to Benue Links Makudi. Hello, ma. Thank you. I must say you look beautiful.
Thank you. You look beautiful too.
Thank you. So, I'm wondering who is Awashima Adengi?
Like you rightly pointed out, I'm a legal practitioner and I have been so since 2003 when I was called to the Nigerian bar.
Interesting.
I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I am a Christian, not just by the words of my mouth, but by my lifestyle. I'm a gender activist and what I do with the Benue state government, I prosecute. I represent governments in courts. I offer legal advice to the government on legal and criminal matters. Basically, that is the scope of my duties in the Ministry of Justice, which is my primary constituency. Having undergone a study on temperaments, I can say Awashima Marietta Adingi is a sanguine choleric with a touch of phlegmatic and very compassionate.
Okay.
And I love people and I love animals. Yes, I am passion driven. In fact, I have a lot of energy to burn, even at this age.
Wow, I like that.
Yes, I have a lot of passion and energy to burn. There's so much adrenaline pumping in my system.
Oh my God.
And when I'm convinced about something, I go all for it. My policy is to make impact on the society, to add my quota, and then to see that justice is done. So those are my driving principles in life.
What is a typical day like for you?
A typical day for a legal practitioner is running to meet up your cases.
How do you manage?
Well, somehow God knows how to, as you grow up, there's something called training and discipline. You learn to balance everything you're doing. So perhaps over the years, I've just learned to balance myself from waking up, doing house chores, and then going to school, and then graduating to the workplace and all that. So everything seems to just fall in place. But everybody has a schedule, a daily schedule.
Yeah.
And if you carefully follow your schedule every day, you have a work regime that will be able to guide you daily. For a lawyer, the lawyer's friend is a diary, and I have my diary.
Wow,
so every morning, I consult my diary to know the next thing I'm supposed to do.
Wow.
I consult my diary to arrange my... And every morning when I wake up, my husband asks me, what is your day like? And then I tell him, I give him a blow-to-blow account of how I'm going to spend my day.
So what kind of a husband is he to you?
Well,
that's the smile I was waiting to see on your face.
Yes. I don't know. My husband is so many things to me.
Whoa.
He's a friend. He's the closest person to me for now. Anytime I go out and I'm hit by one disappointment or the other, that's the first person. That's the first face I want to see, and the person I want to share my burdens with. He's compassionate, and most of all, I know that he loves me,
That's
and that is
just
what.
the most important.
Yes, that is every other thing is
Second.
subject to that. I know that he loves me, and each time I call on him, he's there. Even when he's not in town, he's there
Getting
for me.
emotional right now. I feel like
Each time I call on him, he's not the perfect man,
yeah.
but he's my perfect world.
He is not the perfect person,
Yes.
but he is the perfect one for her.
me.
But I heard you saying when you are being hit during the day, he's the first face you want to see and the person you want to talk to.
Yes.
So now, what is this hit like? What is disappointing to you? What disappoints you?
Yeah, well, you know that the society is a dynamic one,
Yeah.
and everybody has expectations for the day from people, from events that happen around you, and sometimes they may not go the way you want them to.
Exactly.
Assuming I pick a suspect for gender-based violence and I take him to the police and I don't get the kind of response I want, it's a bad day for me. Sometimes the police will tell you, it's a family issue. Go and sort it at home. When it's a clear case of GBV. There are sometimes, maybe someone says, give me a loan, and the person refuses to pay back. Those kind of days are bad days for me.
Yeah.
When I'm hit by that kind of thing. Or you get sad news of the loss of a friend. Those kind of things can be bad days for me. On the job, if I lose a case, as I get back home,
You want to share it?
yes, I
with
want to share it with the person that is closest to my heart, and that's my husband.
How do you think we can get a permanent solution to this menace?
Is people need to know. And recently we have been doing a lot of sensitization on gender-based violence.
Okay.
And educating people and letting them know that there is a law, and that law prohibits all forms of violence on any person, whether in his private life or in his public life. It was a national law and then domesticated by Benue State. And the governor of Benue State has also signed it into law in Benue State. So we have the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law of Benue State 2019. And that law says no to any form of violence, whether it is political, whether it is physical, whether it is economical, whether it is emotional, even the nitty-gritty of your daily life, your daily interaction with your spouse and with your children. The slight, the slap, or the threat, you think that is just everyday life. That law says, yes, the words, yes, the words you utter, threats and all that, the law prohibits it. Not only prohibits it, but it also prescribes punishment for that law. And that law also says that anybody, any victim of gender-based violence is entitled to compensation. What we have been doing is to tell people that there is such a law. The moment they know that some of these things, they may be in the course of our daily life, but they are crimes. When we went to some of the rural areas in Boko and Konshisha to tell them about the law, one man stood up and asked a question. He said, are you not sure you are trying to set our wives against us? Because these are the things we do every day. And we told him, granted, that is why we called you here. And we called our traditional rulers here to come and be part of this sensitization. And surprisingly, a lot of men are victims of gender-based violence as well. The problem is they hardly say. They hardly come out to say, I am a victim of gender-based violence. maybe ego, for the man to say, my wife did this. My wife refused to give me food. Then the second step is value system.
Okay.
Our value system must be changed. When I say our value system, all of us.
Yeah.
Because gender-based violence is power play.
Okay.
Is a struggle for superiority.
Whoa.
Yes, that is what gender-based violence is. The root cause is the struggle for superiority between a man and a woman. In the home front, the man wants to subdue his wife. And so he uses violence. In the home front, the woman wants to show her husband that she is better than him. So she uses her tongue. The women use their tongue.
Yeah.
Some of them use their attitude. Yeah. And then they begin to cry, "You don't beat me, oh, you don't beat me." That is what gender-based violence is. So for me, if we're able to deal with those two issues, I believe gender-based violence will go down to its barest minimum.
Okay, so talking about one of the forms, which is crude traditional laws and culture. So how do you think culture can be worked on or changed in the fight to stop gender-based violence? Because there are some kind of cultures that that subject a child marriage, and then some of the practices like female
Genital mutilation.
yeah. So what do you think can be done about?
Well, our culture is our first relationship with the law. Because culture, we have customary law that is recognized by our judicial system.
Okay.
And the customary law is based on the traditions of the people, practices that have been practiced for many years and they have become part of us. Yeah. Now, how we can deal with it is reorientation. Is reorientation of our value system. We need to go back to the basics. And that is why in recent times we have been engaging traditional rulers. Yeah. They are the ones that hold the tradition, the customs that have become prevalent in our society. So we have been engaging them, talking to them, brainwashing them, and make them see that even the girls have a right to choose. They have a right. If you look at the Constitution of Nigeria, which is the grand norm, it says that every man is entitled to, he has the right to, first, the right to life. Yeah. And after that, he should be treated with dignity. So if we can look at it that way, now what is dignity? Dignity is a relative term. Dignity for me may not be the same thing for you. But if you are able to respect me as a human being, you'll be able to know what is dignifying to me or not. So it is our value system from the roots. If we're able to address that, I believe that gender-based violence will go down to its barest minimum.
All right, let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back.
With Section 1.5 of the Nigeria Broadcasting Code, which states that any person or group has a right to complain about any broadcast content or conduct of broadcaster. We, by this announcement, appeal to you to feel free to send your complaints about our conduct if you have any. You can lodge such complaints to info@benuetv.be.gov.ng. or visit our head office at Special Duties Wing, Government House, Makadi, Benue State. Please, to state your problem clearly and kindly specify how you want us to resolve your complaint. Remember to state your name and contact details. Benue Television is poised to serve you well. Benue Television, a new dimension in broadcasting.
Welcome back from the break, beautiful people. We've been talking to Mrs. Awashima Adingi, who is the company secretary and the legal advisor of Benue Links Nigeria Limited Makudi. So I would like you to share with me and the viewers out there about your success story in life and how you've been able to affect people positively, people who are around you positively.
Well, I'm still on the climbing ladder. I have not arrived,
Like that.
but I am not where I was yesterday.
Certainly.
Well, I will say that I was born into a humble family. We were not too rich, but we were not poor. My father is deceased, late Mr. William Uta, and my mother died much earlier when I was like 16, 17 years old. Mrs. Doshima Uta. And the two of them together, they brought us up, myself and my siblings, and then put us through school. I finished from Nativity Private School.
Oh,
Yes. And then I went to Queen of the Rosary Secondary School, Boko, where, yes,
Queen of the
I'm a
Rosary.
Kruger. Yes, where I did my secondary education.
Okay.
Thereafter, I went to BSU. All these institutions affected me and have made me to be the woman I am today. When I finished from BSU, I had certain challenges in my school. I didn't graduate in the year I was supposed to graduate. So I took an appointment with a law firm in town, J.I. Abagu & Co. And while I was there, J.I. Abagu helped me, to learn some things. I was not a lawyer, but I took an appointment. I was doing the work maybe of a clerk or so, secretary and all that. I used to run errands for him. And graciously, he used to pay me some good money. All those things put together were able to build me to the person I am today. And after sojourning in J.I. Abagu & Co., I now went to the law school and I became a lawyer. The moment I left the law school, I went for my NYC in Abuja. I did my NYC with the High Court of Justice in Abuja.
Wow.
And as I was leaving High Court of Justice, a friend of mine invited me. In fact, he called me. I was in Abuja when he called me. There is a workshop that is going to take place in Ota, Ogun State. Would you like to attend? I said, yes, I would like to attend. And that was my first step, the first contact with the humanitarian world.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it was a workshop, an African human rights workshop. So I went for that workshop, and there were so many people from all the African countries. So from that time, I came in, and then opportunities began to open, and I will meet one place or the other. They will call me for a meeting, NGO meeting, and I will go. And then when I joined the Ministry of Justice in 2004, I joined an organization. It's called the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA Nigeria, Benue branch. So I joined that organization in 2003, and then I began to, reach out to people and all that. So in the fight against gender-based violence, I've had mentors. and they are the ones who have helped me. The first person I told you gave me opportunity to go for a course in Ota, Ogun State, was my colleague. He was my friend in the university. He's also a lawyer. His name is Andrew Baba. At that time, he was the deputy coordinator of access to justice in Makurdi. So he was the one who gave me the first opportunity. Then, as a FIDA member, I met the late Mrs. Christy Anagendi. At that time, she was the chairperson of FIDA, Nigeria Benue branch. And then I began to touch the humanitarian world. And then in the course of that, in 2018, I reunited with my classmate from the university. She's now Professor Magdalene Dura. So she was the one who actually, in fact, that was the turning point. And we began to do interventions here and there. And of course, the first intervention, so to speak, in 2018 was the intervention on Ochanya's case. It was FIDA, Nigeria Benue branch, that went out to, we went out to get the girl and to start treating her with the help of the First Lady, took her to Jos for treatment and all that until she died in 2018. So what am I saying? My success story is just like any other human being that has had opportunities, and these opportunities are not devoid of men. God uses men to build us, and I am privileged to have been tutored by men around me, men and women around me.
So, apart from work, church, and all, what else do you do for fun? Like you want to relax?
Well, I'm mostly an indoor person. Yes, I stay indoors a lot.
Okay.
I'm engaged in farming.
Farming?
Yes, I
With
have a
all
poultry.
these
Yes,
activities
I have a
around
poultry.
you?
Yes, and I have a yam farm in Boko and a cassava farm, a very big one for that matter. Yes,
You don't
I
say.
wish it was
You
just
can take me
nearby
to
and we
your
can
farm.
just go. Yes, I wish
Oh.
it was nearby and we could just go. Yes, I do a lot of farming, and I have a small poultry in the house where I keep
Wow.
sometimes 50, sometimes 100 birds.
Really?
And yes,
You're just a
and
Wonder
I
Woman.
thank God. It's
You
God's
can do
doing.
a lot. You have a lot happening around you, and
Yes.
you're able to
Then I
manage
do a
them.
lot of, sometimes I do storage, maybe grains in season. Like right now, it's cassava chips. I find time to study. As a lawyer, you can't do without studying. You have to study. You have to read your books to be abreast with the law.
Happening.
Yes, and with the, law is just like the society, is dynamic.
Yeah.
So you have to read to, to come to terms with the new frontiers in the law. You can't avoid that. Also, I have my personal devotion to God, which I don't joke with. And 3 John and verse 2. This version says, "My dear friend, I pray that everything may go well with you, and that you may be in good health, as I know you are well in spirit." Another version says, "I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers." That is my favorite Bible verse. It's from the book of 3 John and verse 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that you will prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. 19th November 1990, I gave my life to Christ. Yes, yes. I had a friend, Joy Igor. She was my friend in Queens. And when she gave her life to Christ, she will always preach to me. So I'll just follow her to fellowship just for the fun of it. And then one day, just like Saul, God arrested me and I became converted. And from that day, and there was one remarkable thing that happened in my Christian walk. One of those days, I'd been hearing my love speaking in tongues, and I used to make jest of it. That's the truth. I used to make jest of it. And then one day in the fellowship, I just found myself, I opened my mouth, was glorifying God in strange languages. But there was such an outburst of, joy and happiness that I knew that this was not, it wasn't me. It was someone else. And from there, till today, I speak in tongues.
Okay, so can you share with us that part of you that you think people don't know or maybe people misunderstand about you?
Like I told you, I'm a sanguine, choleric,
Okay.
phlegmatic. If you
It's true.
if you look at the sanguine is very accommodating, but the choleric is not. So there are some times that the choleric just comes out. And so people look at me as a very tough woman. In fact, sometimes when I walk, all people see is the tough woman going there. Kai, this woman. Several people have approached me and told me, do you know I really used to like you? Let me see, the opposite sex. And I would have married you. But they told me, that woman a lion. Until they came close. So that is one aspect of my life that maybe,
It's a
a
twist.
lot of people may not understand. But if you come close to me, I'm a very compassionate person. I love people. And I'm very expressive. I'm expressive so that you can just see my feelings on my sleeves. I
Wow.
don't have secrets. I don't keep secrets. I live a very transparent life.
Okay, now let me go more private. So, what do you think you can let us know about your family?
My family is a young family. The actors may not be that young, but the family itself is a young family. When I
Really?
say we're a young family, we're just about 5 years.
Oh,
Yes, we have lived together as husband and wife just for 5 years.
wow.
We have had our challenges. We still have our challenges, but we are trusting God that we will surmount all of them. I have children. They may not be biological, but I do have children.
Wow.
So that is all I can say about the family, except you want to ask me any other specific thing.
So, what is your greatest fear
I have no
in life?
fears.
Really?
Yes, because I may
Wow.
not know tomorrow, but I know the God that knows tomorrow. I have no fears
Wow,
whatsoever.
this is the
Yes.
best line I have heard. She said she doesn't know tomorrow, but she knows a God that knows tomorrow. This is the much we can take on the show today. It's been an interesting time here with Mrs. Awashima Adingi. She is the company secretary and the legal advisor to Benue Links Nigeria Limited Makudi. It's been an interesting time.
Thank you
To you,
very
ma.
much, and thanks for having me.
Thank
It's a
you.
privilege.
All right. If you want more of this interesting episode, visit us next time for yet another interesting time on the show. It's been Godoto. Remain blessed.
Benue Television.
Our news and flagship program, Daybreak Benue, keeps you informed on events and happenings around the nation.